Hey guys, and welcome back to the Interceptor. So I'm here with another war video, and this is going to be war number 3 of season 19, and we are going to be up against NewN. So the title of this video is going to be something like horrible matchup, are you kidding me, or like again with the matchups. But yeah, for the third war in a row, we have matched a Masters Alliance, and for the second time in a row, a top 3 alliance. So the top 3, well, technically 2 of the top 4 alliances. So in the world, like the top 4 alliances are genuinely considered to be Kenobi, NewN, ISO 8A, and NY in any order. Usually Kenobi comes in first, but really in any order for those 4. I believe NY's got first as well before. But yeah, so my alliance is 3 out of 3 going against Masters Alliances, and there's actually an alliance over 100 rating above us that matched a Platinum 2 alliance, which is insane that we are so low and we keep matching the highest of the high alliances. I mean, we're still in tier 1, but we're in like the 80th, like just we're almost out of I'm saying plat 1, I mean tier 1. But I was assigned to take in Namor and Warlock for my fights today. This fight was supposed to be with Namor, but I was never assigned a third champion, and I saw a bunch of fights I could take with Magic. We are finally getting our revenge for our death last season to NewN, and I'm going to show that in this video. So we are bringing in Magic mostly for that fight. And I have no doubt in my mind I could have taken this champion fight with Namor with my eyes closed, as I don't believe I'm running suicides. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. And yeah, I'm not. But I just want to make this a little safer. So this is champion on path 3. This is really just an armor node that's meant to make you time out if you don't have a proper counter, as this guy can regenerate and he can also have his unstoppables that are up all the time. I also could have removed all of his charges by simply using my L1, because every time you nullify a Fury on him, that's actually the way he loses his charges, but if it just expires, he won't activate his unstoppable. So he hasn't activated his unstoppable yet, and we are max boosted, so this fight's gonna go a little faster. If I did use my L1 to nullify that big armor up, it actually would have come back, so it wasn't really worth my time. So right here I'm just hitting the parries, going for one-hit combos, just because it's really safe. And then right there I decided not to. I knew I was getting to my L2 here, and I knew it would kill him. We're doing good there. We're at 97%, and our first fight's going well. Also, going into this war, we are 1-1. We beat AGTG, and then we lost to NY, and I have 1 death on the season so far. So now it is time for this Hood fight. So this Hood is on Power Snack. And if you guys don't remember, last season on the old map, they placed him on node 53, I think it was, the one with 200% power gain. And I took it with Magic, and the power gain from my Mystic boost actually ended up making me lose the fight, because I used a special 2, and I got to my special 3 because I was running full suicides, and I believe both hits crit. I don't know if that's exactly what happened, but it was something like extremely similar to that. I know I accidentally got to my L3. So yeah, very simple fight, but the fact that this is a rank 3 massive health pool, combined with the fact that there's a lot of room to mess up when you're fighting a fight so long. He has a lot of attack, he has a lot of health, and I believe Magic is the best option for this node. And you'll notice I don't get for any intercepts in this fight, and that's just because Magic is a very sustainable champion, probably one of the most sustainable in the game, as long as she's high Sig, and my Magic is actually Sig 200. I ended up taking her up to Sig 200 after this fight, so I had been holding on to a lot of Mystic stones for Doom for a while, and then I looked at my stones and I realized I had 180 Mystic stones, and I still right now have like 165 generic stones. So would it really be that bad if I put another 80 stones into magic to make her max sig? And I realized no, it wouldn't really be that bad. And what that does is it actually increases her chances for her multiplier of, I believe it's 25. So yeah, it's 25, 37.5, and then 50. It increases that by 99.96, so basically doubled. So at your L1 you have a 50% chance of getting it, your L2 you have a 75% chance, and your L3 you have, it's like 99.98, I think it's that. But yeah, very simple fight, and we did finally get our revenge for that death last season, which is amazing. And now we're going up against this Korg. So this is a Korg on Mixmaster Oscillate, and I was not supposed to take this fight. Mind you, I should put a warning going into this fight. All attack bonus was lost. At this point, we had 4 deaths to this guy. We had someone supposed to take it with Omega Red, did not bring Omega Red into the map. Then we had a backup going in with Domino and died twice. And then we also had my leader running in with, genuinely can't remember who he used, likely Vision, because your L1s without suicides would do decent damage and they wouldn't get thorns. But yeah, you can see on our first attempt, because of Mixmaster, we actually can't end our combos with mediums unless all of his rock stacks are gone. So we're just baiting out heavies. And I am going to go back into this fight, which is actually a massive mistake. Me reviving on this fight is going to cause us a lot of problems going forward. But let's just zoom forward until after I've healed up. Yeah, so now we're going back in. And I'm going to go with literally exactly the same strategy because I did play that fight right. The only thing is I was just a tad short on the second dex of his SP2. And that's the only thing that got me killed. So yeah, we're not really reflecting much damage. We're only reflecting 930 damage on his rock shield. But see, now that we have his rock shield down, we can do a little bit of a longer combo. So we go into our L1 here. The only goal here is to first bait his L2, get rid of his indestructible, and then get my L3 from, or my L2 from the, what's it called? Imperious Rex. So now we're going to go in for a final medium combo. It's going to push us to our L2. We are going to bait out, we were just trying to get blocked there a little bit, and then we throw our L2 and it easily kills. Hold on. Not yet. I thought that killed him. I genuinely remember that killing him, and then he evades 2 of my hits in a row, which I was kind of confused why he evaded the light attack. I understood why he evaded the medium. But that's going to be the end of that one, and now we're going in for a bunch of fights in a row. So, there was actually a mistake made where this fight right here was just no one assigned the fight. He ended up assigning it to an Archangel after my leader realized that he forgot to assign this, and the guy that was running Archangel did not have his boosts up yet. He was going to wait till later, and at this point where I'm starting this fight, I have 10 minutes left in the 6-hour boost that I used to clear Champion and Hood. So I volunteered to take it. I said, this is a very simple fight with magic. I'm just going to throw off my L1 boost to make sure that she doesn't get her L1, because when she throws her L1, she actually has the evade charge. And you'll notice my PI is a little higher, and that's because this is the first fight I've ever had with magic anywhere where she is Sig 200, and it's I really love the difference. I can feel the difference, but it's a very, very bad placement. Dead Widow can cause a fair bit of problems, but not on that node. Now we're going for this Storm Pyramid X, and I have genuinely not fought a single Pyramid X in my life. The only one I fought is the uncollected difficulty, in which I used Ghost and ended the fight in 10 hits. I never have even once baited out a single special out of Pyramid X. So going into this fight, I had to do about 15 duels to know how to evade her L1 in case she ever threw it. It was a little bit of an oversight, but she never even gets to throw a single bar of power. She just dies so fast. Honestly, not the worst placement in the world. And if they hadn't placed a defender on the next node that you can use Warlock for so incredibly easily, then it just not rough, but it just wouldn't be incredibly easy to counter that. So now we're going up against a Domino on Buffet, and this is the easiest fight in Alliance War I've ever taken in my life. This is a and going into this fight, I was genuinely scared. I thought this would be my hardest fight this war. Turns out this was my easiest fight. I thought that inflicting the arm reps would give me a little bit of direct damage on me. I had to ask around in my instance, and I was actually instructed, or I was told that it does not. And I had the L1 boost still up from my against Dead Widow with magic, but you don't really need it. She's healing at all. She is nullifying my armor up, but since we're barely blocking, it doesn't really make a difference. Throw our power, and that is a joke of a fight over in 45 seconds. So it was a good fight. Now we'll go into the last section. So I was not supposed to take this guillotine. We had one person that was supposed to bring in Quake and did not bring in Quake. So this is a rank 3, and I actually do show it very, very briefly while I am boosting up. But this guy has a SIG 180 Guillotine 2099 6-star. So that is the exact same SIG, exact same level as my guillotine. I just thought that was funny. I went in, I checked his profile before I was starting the fight. I saw, wow, SIG 180, exact same SIG as mine. So yeah, I just thought that was a little funny. But we're going to use Mystic Boost, and this is probably the biggest waste of Mystic Boost I've ever in my life. Magic is only being used for this fight, and I only throw like 2 or 3 special 2s the entire fight. Massive waste of boosts. So there, I just popped up a thing because I thought there was 5 seconds left. And the strategy on this one is to just knock her over, knock her down by using a heavy attack, hitting pretty hard into our block. And actually going into this fight, I knew that she would be punching her L1, so the goal in this fight was simply to push her to an L2 as often as possible. And as soon as we get we should save. So there, I almost missed the counter on the heavy, and I'm holding blocks so that she doesn't throw her L1. I'm able to push her to her L2. In hindsight, that was probably a stupid decision. And also right here, she has one chance to activate her Digicloak. One chance that would screw me over, and it happened on that fight, on that specific one. So my L2, both hits end up being missed, and we're in exactly the same place we were before. I'm still not scared at this point. I'm like, okay, all I really got to do is bait out one more L2. But then I realize, why don't I throw my L2 first? Because maybe it locks her at her L2, and I can bait that out. But worst case scenario is she reverses the healing on my suicides once, 5%. That is the literal worst case scenario of that interaction right there. So now we're hitting some intercepts just because I'm scared about my low health pool. I'm going to throw off a heavy here because I know she's nowhere near her L1 and power locking me. I'm going to throw another L2, and she's power locked once again. Now I knew the regen was coming at 15%, but I wanted to make sure it was a special 2 that pushed it over. So now I'm literally just going to dash back and wait for her regen to be over. And based on the fact that I have 3 full minutes plus left in this fight, I'm scared a single bit about letting her regen. She could literally regen back to 100 right now, and I would still win this fight, eyes closed. I mean, it's not the worst place for a guillotine in the world, and the meta in Alliance War certainly doesn't demand an offensive guillotine unless you see a brutal Mr. Sinister. But yeah. Now we're going to go into Terex on this node, and if I'm being completely honest, I misread this node. So in the Alliance War off-season, they took away, or sorry, after the Alliance War off-season, they took away one of the nodes called Heavy Hitter. So this node is stun reflection, so unless you inflict the enemy with a armor break or with a poison or incinerate, they have stun reflection up, and right there, I believe it was a reparry because I was holding block and then I let go of block to parry him, and that was actually completely accidental. That was not my intention in the slightest. My intention was to keep holding block, bait out a heavy, and then dash back so I could get a fair intercept. And he actually did end up throwing one heavy in that fight that gave me the chance to go in. And the reason I didn't go in is because I genuinely thought that the node would be hitter on it. Turns out it doesn't. I ended up reading that after I lost the fight. But I just got so used to fighting that node in the off season, and this was the first time for me taking that node during the season that it didn't even occur to me that they made that node easier. And I think that if you look at my first war and my fight against Terex, you can see just how easily after I get that first intercept that fight would have been. I don't even stun him a single time in that fight, and I played this node exactly the same if I just known that there was not heavy hitter, and I kicked myself about it. I was so mad at that death. That was a horrible death. I didn't even get 1% taken off. But of course we lost to New Nation. I mean, we got absolutely destroyed. They died 13 times. We did not die 91 times, by the way. That is wildly what's the word for it? Inflated, probably. It's not exactly what I mean, but that's wildly inflated by the fact that we didn't bring good counters to two nodes in particular. That Arcus in the middle, we timed out once with Corvus to take it down, which was an unnecessary death because one guy that was supposed to bring Corvus and take Path 2 in Section 1 with it completely forgot to bring Corvus on his team. He brought Omega Red instead, leaving him no option to take that, so we had to have someone on Path 5, or I think he was on Path 4 Section 2, who happened to have Corvus 4 Section 1, take that fight with one charge, which was brutal. But yeah, that's going to be it. We ended up losing, and I did get an MVP spot because I had 7 attacker kills, and I was 7 out of 8 in successful PSRs. So that is going to make us 1-2 on the season. We could not have done any better than we did. We have just gotten absolutely screwed with the matchups. And if we match up even anyone in the bottom 5 of Masters or literally any alliance in Platinum 1, we are taking home the win. It's a fact. We are going to beat them, or we're going to do our very best, and it's very likely that we'll beat them. But if we keep getting screwed by this, keep getting top 5 matchups in war, we are going to lose, and that's completely unavoidable because even the 5th or 6th best alliance doesn't even have a shot at beating one of the top 3 like we have had to fight. So our PSR now is at 17 out of 19, so I have 2 deaths on the season, as we did die one time against that Korg, and that did not count because there was no attack bonus, so that counts as a PSR. And then also we died against the Terex twice. I did not show the second one because it was with Warlock, but I promise I did not lose an attack bonus, so I went in first and lost the first attack bonus, and then someone went in with their magic and their Warlock because they had a similar team than me, so there was no attack bonus left. I went in with Warlock. I got about 10% down, and then I died, and that was all my deaths for this war. But since 2 of the 3 of them did not lose attack bonus, and I've said this countless times on my channel, those do not count as deaths. So that is going to be 17 out of 19. So 8 fights this war, 8 fights the first war, and 3 fights the second war, 19. Or roughly 89. It's 89.4, so it's almost 90% victory percentage or PSR percentage. But that is going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully we get some better matchups going forward. We had a couple guys item out this war, including myself. I didn't item out as in like I wasn't able to continue fighting because I didn't have a great option for my next fights, but I did item out as in I used all my items to get to my last fight. That is going to be it. Hope you guys had a great day, and I will see you